We tend to think that learning is all about getting the right answers, right? But what if the real story, the good stuff, is actually in the journey? The questions, the weird connections our brain makes, and yeah, even the mistakes. Well, today we're going to dive into a really cool document that shows exactly that. Okay, so take a look at this. This is not some graded test paper covered in red ink. Nope. This is a page from someone's actual notebook. It's raw, it's human, it's packed with questions and handwritten answers. We're going to treat this thing like an archaeological find. Seriously, we're going to dig into the stories that are hiding right here in these notes. All right, part one, pioneers and inventions. So our first dig is going to take us right into the world of human ingenuity. We're going to look at the big ideas and the brilliant minds that this student was trying to figure out, starting with, well, the very beginning of computers. So, our first stop is this question right here. It asks about the fode bar of computer. I just love that. It's obviously a little typo for father of the computer, right? And check out the answer they've jotted down. Charles Babbage. We totally know what they mean, and that's exactly where our story is going to start. So this notebook, it's given us our first big clue. That name isn't just a name. It's like a doorway into the very beginning of the digital age. So let's ask the question the right way. Who was Charles Babbage? And there he is. Our learner was absolutely on the right track. Charles Babbage, with the correct spelling, was this total visionary, an English mathematician. Get this, he came up with the whole concept of a programmable computer. He designed something called the analytical engine, which was basically the great-great-grandfather of every laptop and smartphone out there today. So yeah, the notebook totally nailed the important part. Okay, moving on down the page, our student tackles another massive invention. The question is, who invented World Wide Web? Which is a great way to put it, actually. And the answer they've got? Tim Berners-Lee. Again, a tiny misspelling in the question, but the answer is looking pretty solid. And direct hit. The student absolutely nailed it. That's Sir Tim Berners-Lee. I mean, think about it. He didn't just invent some gadget. He gave the entire world a system for sharing information that completely changed, well, everything. Just an amazing piece of knowledge captured right there in that notebook. All right, part two is a tour of our planet. So we're shifting gears from the digital world of inventions to the natural world. Our learner's curiosity is now taking us on a little trip to explore the ground beneath our feet and the sky above our heads. Okay, check this entry out. It's super simple. It just connects water surface with a number 70.8. That's it. No percent sign, no units, nothing. Just water surface and 70.8. This is a perfect example of how we take notes, right? It's just shorthand for a much bigger idea. So that naturally leads us to the question, what is that number, 70.8, actually telling us? Well, when you think about how much of the Earth is covered in water, this is probably the number that pops into your head, right? 71%. It's clean, it's easy to remember. And here's the cool part. Our learner was totally right on the money. In fact, you could say they were even more right. That 70.8 they wrote down, it's actually a more precise number than the 71% most of us use. So that's another point for our note taker. Fantastic. Okay, now we're getting to what I think is the most fascinating entry on the whole page, for real. The question is simple. What's the lowest layer of Earth? But the answer is a beautiful little story about how our brains sometimes get their wires crossed when we're learning something new. So just look at this answer. It starts with troposphere, and then it completely pivots to inner core. It is 5,000 to 6,000 C. Wow. Do you see what's happening? We have two totally different scientific ideas just crashing into each other in a single sentence. This isn't just a wrong answer. This is a perfect learning moment captured right on the page. Okay, let's untangle this beautiful mess. On the left, you've got the layers of the atmosphere, the air above us. The very lowest one, the one we're all breathing right now, is the troposphere. Now on the right, you've got the layers of the actual planet Earth. And way, way down at the center is the super hot inner core. So our student, they got the lowest layer of the atmosphere right, and they got the temperature of the inner core right. They had all the correct puzzle pieces. They just came from two different boxes. And that is where learning gets so interesting. And that brings us to our final part, the beauty of a mistake. Because really, this isn't just about Charles Babbage or layers of the Earth. It's about what this one little page from a notebook can teach us about how we learn and how beautifully messy that whole process can be. So what are the big takeaways here?
First, that curiosity is what starts it all. I mean, every single line on that page, whether it's right or wrong, started with a question. And the mistakes? They aren't failures, not at all. They're more like signposts, showing us exactly where things are getting a little tangled up. That's a super important part of learning. It's this process of connecting ideas, and yeah, sometimes getting them mixed up. That's how we actually build our understanding of the world. The journey is everything.
And that really leaves us with one last thought. Come on, we've all been that person, right? Scribbling in a notebook, trying to make sense of everything. So I want to leave you with this question. Think about it. What's the best, most important thing you ever learned from getting something totally and completely wrong?